Being a single mom and doing it all by yourself is brutal. Learn the brain and energy tools to get back to your center and overcome your challenges. Are you someone who would like to clear the blocks you have with money, to invite more money in your life? And would you like more abundance and more clarity on what you came here to do and how you can be more fulfilled and wealthy at all levels in your life? If that's you, stay tuned because this is the show for you today. Welcome to Single and Doing It All, the podcast for single moms who are doing it all. If that's the first time we meet, my name is Murielle. I'm known as your French life coach. And I'm here to help you alleviate the overwhelm, the anxiety, the feelings of shame sometimes to want to run away from your life and transform your life so that it can be more enjoyable and you can go back to you. Today, I have the perfect guest for you because she's someone with whom I've personally worked and still working with her material. Her name is Marion Solis, and she specializes in showing moms who aren't making enough money in their home-based business how to create the passion-inspired income and flexible schedule they want by uncovering and clearing hidden money and success blocks to unleash their amazing self. So let's all welcome Marion Solis. Welcome, Marion. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me, Murielle.
Oh, you're welcome. I wanted to have you because the results I got from your coaching were really amazing. So I want to share that benefit with everybody out there. And we are now, as you know, if you're listening to that on audio, we are now recording our shows on Facebook, and it's not new anymore, but I'm still mentioning it. If you're coming here and you watch on replay, you can still ask questions. As I always say, replay is the new life because we come back and we answer questions. And if you're on audio and want to continue listening on audio, no problem at all, because she's going to explain everything and you'll be able to understand. So with no further ado, please let us know, how did you get to become a money coach? What happened?
So I'm a different kind of money coach. I coach using energy medicine. And I really started out with the energy part of it first before I ever got into money. So the short version of it is, in my early 20s, when I still lived in Germany, and I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have an echo. Oh, okay, we're good.
Okay, good. So I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which is a chronic inflammation of the intestines. And I already knew at that point, even though I was really young, that I did not want to take any medication. And so I was looking for ways to heal it. And long story short, I couldn't find anything. I tried a bunch of different things. I couldn't find anything, which I now believe there's a reason for this, because it brought me on the path that I'm on. Yeah. So when I ended up having surgery, I went through the surgery and the whole rehab part of it, which was really hard. But I don't remember, I think it was about maybe a year later or so, I was introduced to somebody, a woman who did an energy healing on me. And it was a way of looking at what are the unconscious beliefs that I am carrying that create these physical symptoms in my body. And I had never had anything like that done. I had done some visualization and some other stuff, but I had no idea that there's a mind-body connection. Mm-hmm. And when I started working with her, then things just all of a sudden became so clear and my symptoms changed. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's a connection between what I'm thinking and feeling and what's showing up in my body. I thought it was fascinating. So at that point, there was nothing really I could do with it professionally. I was a travel agent actually at that point, and I was still young. And I thought someday I want to learn this and help people with this. Fast forward about 10 years later, in the meantime, I'd moved to the United States. And I went to an event with the specific intention to meet somebody who can teach me this kind of energy healing. And of course, I found somebody. That's just when
Yeah,
you set an intention and you really have a desire, it
absolutely.
just works out.
Yes.
So that was in 2001, and I started my journey of learning energy medicine, energy healing. And I have many different ways I approach it. However, at that point, I didn't really work with money beliefs specifically. I was just coaching whoever came with whatever they needed, and I supported them. And then my husband had challenges financially because he started a business that didn't work out well. And it was right at the cusp of when the economy went down, 2008, 2009. And we got into a lot of financial challenges. And I tried everything I knew, and I could not figure out how to get out of this hole.
Yeah.
And I used there's so many people. I had used tapping in the meantime for a long time. And there's coaches like Carol Look and Joe
Yeah.
Vitale. Well, Joe Vitale doesn't really tap, but he is all about abundance. There's many people using the tools that I'm using around money, and it just did not shift. And I didn't understand why. Anytime I made more money in my business, something happened and the money went out the door and something else. And it was utterly frustrating. And I did not know what to do until I believe it was in 2013. I heard about Margaret Lynch for the first time. And Margaret Lynch has a book that's called Tapping into Wealth.
Yes.
And later she started a coaching program, and I took her coaching, and just by starting to read the book, but then definitely going through the coaching, my money just shifted completely. And not just my money. The cool thing is when money is just a symptom, just like our health is just a symptom. There is so much stuff going on in our minds, in our unconscious, that creates what we're experiencing. But money is such a great metaphor for our life. And when I started using those different tools and looking at those different beliefs, that's when everything changed. So I decided very quickly, everybody needs to have access to this kind of information because it's so drastically different from anything I've seen before.
And it's so funny because for me, there are many things that I'm discovering now regarding money, because I've worked a lot on valuing yourself, self-love, love, relationships. And now I'm working on money because I want to go to the next level. And I'm discovering things that I didn't even realize had to do with the way money was showing up in my life. Like even the way you eat has to do with, are you allowing more money in your life or not? It's really incredibly insightful what's happening now. So I know that in your coaching, what I'm noticing is that everything is also linked, like you said, to energy, but there is also a connection to the chakras.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about that? Because this is very
Sure.
different from any other money coach that I've encountered so far.
Yes, I'd love to. So if you're not familiar with chakras, we have 7 basic energy centers in our bodies, and each energy center, which we call chakras, has a specific function. It's responsible for a certain area of your physical body and is responsible for a certain aspect of your mental, emotional, spiritual wellness. So for example, the first chakra is at the base of the spine, and the first chakra is all about your family, your sense of security and survival, and your physical body. So when we use this system, the tapping into wealth, even though we don't actually ever talk about the chakras, I don't think I've ever mentioned chakras in the tapping into wealth boot camp, but it's all in there. So for example, when you look at the first chakra, it's such a great example of looking, how does your family handle money? Or when you grew up, what was the money like in your family? And we call that the family paradigm. So when you look at the Tapping into Wealth Bootcamp, the family paradigm is, how hard do people like us have to work for money? How much do people like us earn? How do people like us look at it? And when you look at it that way, on your first chakra, it's very primal. It's important to us that we stay safe. And we only stay safe, that's what our brain tells us, this is what our unconscious tells us, when we do what everybody else around does. Because if we do something else and we stick out, we get thrown out of the tribe, and then we're not safe because then we're on our own. Now, logically, we all know this is not going to happen to us, today. If I earn more money than my parents, nothing's going to happen to me because if I'm in their tribe or not, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But there's a part of us that still is so primal and just believes it's not safe to step outside the norm, step outside the paradigm of our family, that we just don't go beyond that unless we become conscious of it and then consciously make different choices. But if we don't make this conscious, then it's running us the whole time. And even when we start earning a lot more money than our parents or the people around us, then we find a way to sabotage ourselves and get rid of the money.
And that's funny because it's something we're not, like you said, we're not conscious of, and we're like, oh no, that's not me. But somehow it's in the reptilian brain. It's in our energetic DNA, and we act from it without knowing it. And when you start working with this kind of beliefs and uncovering what's under the surface, I was so surprised to find what I found in mine. It's really, I never would have thought that I had this kind of beliefs, but yet they came to the surface.
Yes.
So I know also you coach on money, but you also coach on aligning with who you really are, because if there is some kind of misalignment, you will never also tap into your full potential for happiness, for wisdom, for health.
Yes.
How does that work? How do you approach that?
So what I love to use is, they're called the Life Purpose Profiles from Rhys Thomas. And Rhys is spelled R-H-Y-S, Rhys Thomas. And I'm a graduate of the Rhys Thomas Institute for Energy Medicine, and I continue to go every year as continuing education now after I've graduated. And Rhys has found a way where you can identify who you really are versus who you are or who you think you're supposed to be. So let me give you an example. So there's five kinds of people. So the 5 life purpose profiles, the first one is a creative idealist. It's somebody who's creative, who's a big thinker, who's just fun and playful. And then there's the emotional intelligence specialist. So it's the lover, the feeler. And then there's the team player, which interesting enough, most of us women have learned it's totally good to be a team player, right? That's what the world teaches us. Be a team player, do for other people. And that's one of those things that I'm calling you being somebody you're supposed to be, not who you really are, unless you are a true team player from your energetic profile. And I'll talk about that in a second. Then the fourth one is a knowledgeable achiever, somebody who loves mastery and who loves to study and get better and better, and just loves mastery. And then there's a charismatic leader. And the charismatic leader is that person in life that is just inspiring others to do something bigger. And when you look at these 5 life purpose profiles, most of the time, especially as women, what we have been raised to believe is we can either be a team player, which also often looks as a people pleaser, or we can be a knowledgeable achiever. So it's that good girl that does everything for everybody.
But don't we have a little bit of each in us?
We do. Yes, we do have a little bit of everything, and we have a primary and secondary. And most of the time we live in our secondary profile. So for me, for example, I have always been the achiever. I've always been, the best in school, the best in my job, got everything done. I was a straight A student, just
good girl syndrome.
Good girl. Which, by the way, is also first chakra. That's my belief at the first chakra level in my family. To survive, I had to be the good girl. Now, that's my belief. It doesn't mean it's the truth. It means that's what I believed. So, exactly. And I was very, very proud being that achiever. I took great pride in being that person. I was, for the longest time, the main income earner in the family. I kept everything straight. I can figure it out. And it was part of my identity.
It kept you safe and loved when you were young.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. You hit it right the nail on the head, so to say, because we are choosing who we are being based on what our environment tells us when we're little.
Yeah.
So what I found out through the Reese Thomas Institute is, and I was very resistant to this, I'm actually a creative idealist. I'm somebody who loves to play, and I love to have fun, and I love to be creative. And when I learned that, it's like, that just can't be me. I like to do things. I like to get things accomplished. I like to, work. And when I finally was willing to consider that that is really who I am, my whole life changed.
Wow.
And I just became so free and excited that I can just be me, and it's okay to be me. Now, I will never lose the ability to be an achiever. I always have that.
Yeah.
But the achieving has never made me happy. Being that creative, that has made me happy. And I'm not talking about painting or something, because I thought, I'm not creative. I don't know how to paint. I don't act. I don't do any of that
Me
stuff.
too.
Yeah. So I thought there's no way. But there is a part in me that is incredibly creative, especially when I'm coaching or when I'm parenting. I love to be creative. I love to see things from the light side and get really deep, but in a way that feels very safe and is different than most people do it. So that's my example. And many women are actually charismatic leaders, but they don't show up as leaders in their lives because when they were little, they learned it's not safe to be a leader, right? So then they became that team player or that knowledgeable achiever. Usually they were either like the good girl, daddy's little girl, or they became the team player helping mommy with everything. And stepping then into, when you come in and say, wait a minute, that's not who I am. And there's a connection to money. I'll tell you that in a second. When you realize this is not really who I am, and who I am is this, and then you live who you really are, it just changes your energy completely. Because now you are energized by being who you are versus losing energy pretending you're being somebody who you're not.
So you're aligned with your true self instead of being aligned with your persona that you created to be accepted.
Exactly.
It's incredibly freeing.
It is. So let me tell you the connection to money, because I love to bring this together. Yes. Each life purpose profile has the energy in different chakras, has different strength in different chakras. So our energy is distributed differently in our bodies based on what life purpose profile we are. So for example, charismatic leaders tend to be really good at creating money and manifesting things. They're also, when they're in their shadow, they're really good at losing it all. But it's just realizing who I am so you can take advantage of it. But charismatic leaders have a lot of oomph to create a lot of money, and they just need that tweak to realize who they really are and how to use that big energy to create what they want without destroying it as soon as they turn around.
Oh.
Then creative idealists like me, for example, we're like the furthest removed from reality. Now it's also, what else do you have as secondary? So I have that knowledgeable achiever as secondary. So I have a lot of grounding, but creative idealists usually don't care about money. And so when you want to make, a lot of money as a creative idealist, you either have to make sure you have a team that supports you that has different strengths, or you need to consciously call upon the other parts of your energetic system and say, okay, so I need to call upon my knowledgeable achiever, for example, to do these next steps. Because as a creative idealist, I just want to be out there. I want to invent. I want to create. I don't want to do the work that it takes to make money. So then I need to call on my secondary, on my knowledgeable achiever, and say, okay, I'm going to pick one thing. This is what we're doing right now, and this is how we're making money. And then whenever I've made that successful, then I move on to the next one. So it's like knowing your life purpose profile will also help you identify what's the best way for you to make money.
And I'm sure that if you're not in the right one, it takes an immense amount of energy to maintain your true one under the surface, because this is really who you are. So all this energy is suddenly freed to make money instead of being busy maintaining it down.
Yes, that's exactly right. So imagine if you're a charismatic leader woman and you've learned when you were little, it's not okay to stand out. It's not okay to be fabulous and to be in the center of attention. But that's what you really want to express, right? So you're using all this energy to like, okay, I'm not going to stand out. I'm just going to be the person who just helps everybody else with their stuff. And it just takes so much energy to keep that up, keeping up that, oh, it's all about everybody else, when it's really not. And exactly what you said, when we can own, it's like, you know what, I am a charismatic leader, and I'm a really darn good charismatic leader, and I love being a charismatic leader, and this is who I am. Now you got this energy and you don't have to hide anymore. And with that energy, now you can create what you want. And it's not that I'm sorry, go ahead.
To reassure all the moms out there, it doesn't mean you're going to neglect your kids or your family at all.
No. So here's what, as I have a 13-year-old, as we record this, I have a boy who's 13 years old. So when I am parenting from the knowledgeable achiever, then I'm like, okay, I need to be a really good role model. I need to be perfect. This is how I need to be. Now, kids do what they see their parents do, right? And I have never put pressure on my son about grades or anything, because that's how I grew up, and it was incredibly hard to grow up being constantly under pressure from my stepdad. So I never put that pressure on me. However, he watched me put pressure on myself. So he started doing the same thing. It's like, how is it possible that he's so, strict with himself? But then when I realized, wait, I'm a creative idealist, I started letting that playful side come out as I am raising him. And of course, he still has his boundaries, and he still has his jobs and all that stuff. But now I'm in my core. I'm raising my child in a way that comes naturally to me. And we laugh so much. And I do just goofy things. And that's me because I'm a creative idealist, right? If you're not a creative idealist, you may not ever do these silly things. But it makes them laugh, and it makes them learn what I'm trying to teach them, because I'm teaching from my core, and I'm not teaching from the part of me that is just, trying to make everybody else happy.
Yes.
So no, you will be even better mom, because if you are pretending to be somebody that you're not, now your kid thinks they have to be that perfect child.
Yes.
And they don't get to be, and they don't get to be who they really are, but we're only happy when we're who we really are.
And it's funny because even though you're not going to tell them that, they pick up on it. Because I know my first one is, I used to be extremely like you, hard on myself, good student, the good girl. And then you have an inner critic that is bullying you for the rest of your life if you don't change.
Yes.
And you're not going to be happy, you're going to be sick, and you're not going to be fulfilled.
Exactly.
So once you realize who you are, you can really align and embrace that. What is one of the most maybe a common money block, but something that people wouldn't necessarily think about when they think about money? What do you see in your clients?
Okay, so there's two things that are super revealing. So the first one is the family paradigm that I briefly touched on earlier. And the family paradigm, when you think about it, you really need to think about how were my parents when I was little, because most of our beliefs are formed by the age of 7.
Yeah.
So when I first started working with this without really understanding, I thought, well, my parents are well off now, and they have pretty much whatever they need. But what I didn't realize is when I was little, when I was forming these beliefs, my parents had no money. They were struggling. They were working like crazy. They had a new business. Those are the money beliefs that I have internalized. And that's like, it's such a blind spot that when we don't realize what was going on in our family when we were that little, that's creating our attitude about, not just money and how hard we have to work, but also that, it's everything else as well. What do I deserve? How much free time do I deserve? All that stuff. Yes. But so that's something that's so important, is just really look at what was going on in my family and in the immediate surroundings when I was that little. And a lot of it is actually, we don't even remember consciously. So some of the exercises when we do the Tapping to Wealth Bootcamp, for example, we go into a meditative state and we just ask our mind to just reveal it to us, because it's in there.
And that's where tapping is fabulous, because working on myself and with clients, you have memories that you didn't even know you still had in there that are
Yes.
popping up to the surface, and you're like, oh,
Yes.
I get it now.
Yes. Yes. And the other thing I wanted to mention, because it's such a big one that was a huge one for me, is the vow to be invisible. And
Oh
since
yeah.
we talked about chakras, I just want to say it's
Yes.
connected to the third chakra. It's your solar plexus. The third chakra is your, this is who I am in the world. And when you have a really strong third chakra and a balanced third chakra, it's this knowing that I rock. I'm just exactly the way I am. I am awesome. And it's just, you just love yourself. But most of us don't have that. So the vow to be invisible is when you think about, it doesn't matter if you have a job or if you are looking to be in a relationship or if you want to create more money in your own business. When there's a part of you that is afraid to stand out and really claim, man, what I'm doing is I'm really good at this and I deserve to get paid well. If you don't have the strong third chakra that says, you know what, I deserve this and I'm good at this and this is what I'm bringing into the world, then you can't make that kind of money, or you can't ask for a raise, or you cannot be who you are or attract a relationship. I mean, it's not just money, but money is just a symptom to so many other things.
Yes, and first of all, it's so countercurrent to what we are being taught since we are that very young, because you're not
Yes.
supposed to brag about yourself. You're supposed to be
Yes.
humble. And then when you start doing that, first of all, you feel really uncomfortable and you are targeted by others because that's
Exactly.
what they've learned too. And you attract people in love, because I've done a lot of coaching around dating and relationships. You attract people who will be mean to you, who will, you cannot be visible. They won't see you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then if we believe there's something wrong with us, then we don't want to be visible because we're afraid that whatever we're
Yes.
going to show up as is not good enough. So we are hiding, and you can never be successful. It doesn't matter if it's financially or in love or in your job or as a parent for that matter. If you don't feel like, man, it's like I have, my slogan is being yourself rocks, because I want you to really get that exactly the way you are. You are just perfect. And there's only one kind of you in this whole world, and the world needs you the way you are. And not the way you think you're supposed to be, the way you actually are. That's how we all bring all our gifts to the world and together create this amazing place.
True. But this is definitely a learning. It's not
Yes.
something that we step into in one. I mean, I'm talking for me and for what I see. It's something we have to learn.
Yes, it's and that's why tapping is so good, because there's all these beliefs that we really need to clear about. It's not safe to be visible, for example. So the vow to be invisible. We need to clear those beliefs, and those are unconscious. And the reason we have these is they're just to keep us safe. We
Yeah.
needed these beliefs at some point. They made perfect sense, but now they're outdated. We don't need them anymore. But if we don't know them, that they're there, we can't let them go.
Yeah, you can't redirect because you don't even know it's going on.
Yes, yes.
For our listeners and our viewers, we're gonna, for the people on audio, as you know, we're on Facebook now, so we're gonna just take a break right now, and we'll be back very soon to address the people on Facebook. And stay here, we'll be back. That's where I need to put my glasses because I can't see a thing, but it's there is the reflection. I'm just gonna make sure that there are no questions. Hi, Caroline. So I see people, but I don't see any questions. And as I said, you can pose questions now, or you can pose them later, and we'll be back to answer. Marion can answer you. It's very, very, to me, in so much insight in what you're saying. First of all, because I'm working with your material, and it's not only going to open the doors to money, but it's going to open the doors to so much more.
Yes, yes, exactly.
So we're going to go back to our audio audience. And we are back now. So as we were saying in the break, it's not discovering who you are and this kind of clarity on the beliefs that are running the show behind the curtain is not going to only open the door to money, because money is great, but I know some people with money who cannot enjoy it, and that's not wealth either.
Exactly.
So it's going to align you with wealth at all level, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now what I was wondering if we could do some kind of short exercise for the audience to start changing now, because with the exercise that Marion is going to share, do it, because you can start rewiring your brain during the show and then you can continue on. This is something that is actually, as you know, when you listen, knowing doesn't change your life, doing will change your life. So take advantage
Exactly.
of this amazing opportunity.
All right. So do you want me to just introduce tapping and do a quick tapping round?
Yes, a
Okay.
lot of my audience know, but for the new people out there and the people who listen on audio, I would love if you could explain tapping a little bit.
Okay. I'll just do a super brief version. So
Yes.
tapping is a way to calm down your nervous system. And we tap on different points, different acupuncture points of the body. And as you tap, you are calming down whatever you're tapping on. So for example, if you were to focus on something that you're scared about, as you tap, you are literally calming down your nervous system to about this particular topic. And at the same time, you can also use it to supercharge your new beliefs. So I love to tap, starting out with releasing what no longer serves us, and then tapping in or supercharging what we want to believe instead. And I'm going to show the points, but I'm also going to explain the points if you're listening to it. Now, when you're driving, you should probably not do this, because we want you to be safe. But just for when you can do this later, let me just explain the tapping points. And then there's an abundance of information, both on my site, which I'll share in a little bit. There's a diagram and everything, so you can go get the visuals later. So we are starting out with tapping on the side of the hand, which we call karate chop. So it's the fleshy part of the side of the hand. And we typically tap on that a few times, just tap gently, like you would tap a baby. And 3 times you state something that you believe that's no longer serving you, while you then say that you're completely loving and accepting yourself, even though you do this. And there's like a beginner's version where you say the exact same thing every time, and then there's an advanced version, which I'll probably just do the advanced version just because that's probably what I'm going to do. But that's just when you just start incorporating so many more ideas. So anyway, so that's the karate chop. And then the points on the top of the head, you just tap gently on the top of the head. And then the other ones, there's 3 points around the eye. And don't worry about left or right. If you switch over left hand, right hand, tap on both sides, it makes absolutely no difference. If you miss a point, it makes no difference. This is a very forgiving process. So the 3 points around the eyes, first you have the eyebrow point, which is the end of the eyebrow just above your nose. And then you go around to the outside of the eye, and there's a bony orbit around your eye. So it's on the outside of the eye. You just gently tap there. And when you tap for yourself, just tap 5, 6, 7 times. It's not a science. Then under your eye, again, on that bony orbit, it would be right under your pupil if you were to look up straight or look ahead straight. The next one's under your nose. Then the next point, I call it chin, but it's really the chin crease. So it's right between your lower lip and the chin. Then a really good one is the collarbone point. I'm going to come a little higher so you can see. These are the collarbones here. So it's under the collarbone points. So I like to just, if you use one hand and you just rub underneath your collarbones, you will get the point. And you can also tap with one hand, kind of where a man would tie would have the knot of his tie. That's the spot. And the last one is under your arm. So just reach over and reach across. It's for a woman. It's where the bra strap is. So those are the points. And then I always like to go back to the top of the head. So a Chinese practitioner has once told me, always start and end at the head. So that's what I do. There's many other ways to do it, but this is what we're going to use. So I'm going to just take us through a tapping routine. And the way I do it is I just tune into what we need right now. So I don't have a script that's prepared. However, I'm going to give you some resources later where you actually can get a script, because when you start with this, most people say, I don't know what to say.
Yes.
Well, I solved that problem for you because I have a script for you that you can get for free.
So do you want me to repeat, or do you want me to be like the guinea pig, or do you want me to be silent?
I would say, why don't you be silent? That way we give the audience an opportunity to repeat.
Okay.
So you will be silent, but for the listeners and whoever's watching, repeat out loud after me, ideally out loud. If you don't have privacy, then repeat it in your mind. But there is power to repeating out loud.
Okay.
So I think we should do something around it's not safe to be mean, it's not safe to make money. How's that?
Yes.
And we'll just, does that sound good?
That's
So we'll just
definitely one of the big ones.
Okay, good. So we'll just start out with this. And then you can use this same tapping script later. Just listen to the recording again and tap along with it over and over again as long as you want to. So we're going to do a few rounds. I'm going to say the points the first round or two, and then I'm going to stop announcing the points. You just move from one point to another at your own pace. I typically go with it in every statement, I go to the next point, but there is, again, you cannot do this wrong. You can't screw this up. That's the cool thing. I love tapping. It's such a forgiving process. Yes. And it works. And there's a ton of scientific research about this now. So if you have never seen this, it looks woo-woo, but boy, it works. And that's all I care about.
Well, I mean, Dr. Oz spoke about it not so long ago. So it's starting to be more mainstream. Yes.
Wonderful. That's awesome. All right. So I always like to close my eyes while I do it, because that way I can tune in and you really want to feel it. The key is that feel the words. If the words are not right for you, trust me, you cannot install a negative belief that you don't have. It just ignore it, just tap on it. You can even repeat it out loud. It's not going to hurt you at all. But sometimes we have a belief that we don't know. And when we just repeat something like, oh my God, I have this. I didn't know I had this. So I would definitely invite you to just repeat after me. And then if you think, nah, that's not me, it doesn't do you any harm. All right. So I like to close my eyes always and then let's start out with a deep breath in and out. And then obviously don't close your eyes when you're driving, if you're driving. So I want you to tune into what it feels like. And again, this is an emotional freedom technique. So it's about the emotions. What does it feel like that it's not safe to be you? Like you just can't be yourself. Just feel what that feels like. Like people would judge you. People would criticize you. People wouldn't get you. And then just also feel into, I just can't make enough money. There's just not enough money. And if you want to rate it on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being this is absolutely not true. I don't feel anything. And 10 is like, oh my God, these feelings are so intense. Just go ahead and rate it. So then after the tapping, you can see the difference. It's just a good pointer. So just see how true does that feel? Those two statements. The first one, how true does it feel like I just can't be myself? And just guess. It doesn't matter if it's, a little up or down. You just want to know, is it a high charge, is it a low charge, or a medium? And then it's like, I just can't make enough money. There's just never enough money. And we're going to do, I want to do 2 different tapping rounds. So let's start out with I cannot be myself. Okay, so tap on the side of the hand, karate chop, and just repeat after me. Even though it's not safe to be me, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though I don't have the courage to be myself, because I will probably be criticized. I choose to accept all of me, even the parts that I don't like. Even though it's just not safe to be me. And it will never be safe to be me. I choose to look at this differently now. And I honor everything that has happened that created this belief. Okay, take a deep breath in and out. And now I'll announce the points for the first round or two. So top of the head, it's not safe to be me. And as you tap, really feel what that feels like. Where in your body do you feel that? It's not safe to be me. Eyebrow. I can't be me. Side of the eye. I'm not enough just being me. Under the eye. It's not safe to be me. Under the nose. I would rather be invisible. Chin. At least then they will not criticize me. Collarbone. It's just not safe to be me. Under your arm. I have to be what they want me to be. Back to the top of the head. Take a deep breath in and out. Keep tapping. It's not safe to be me. Eyebrow. I cannot stand out. Side of the eye. They're going to laugh at me. Under your eye. They'll judge me. Under the nose. I downright refuse to show myself. Chin crease. You will never see who I really am. Collarbone. Because it's just not safe. Under your arm. And you can't make me. Okay, we'll keep tapping. We'll do a positive round now. So go back to the top of the head and tap at your own pace. What if I can change my mind? What if it is safe to be me? What if I can start with a little step? What if I can be me around my closest friends? What if I could be me just with myself? What if I could just start thinking about who I really am? I wonder if I'm a leader. Did I like to stand out and be in the spotlight when I was little? What if I'm an achiever? Do I love mastering something? Do I love being better than how I was yesterday? What if I'm a team player, a real team player? Where I just love supporting other people and I feel energized by it? What if I'm a lover, an emotional intelligence specialist? Just pure loving people. What if I'm a creative idealist with crazy wild ideas and loving fun and play? The truth is, I am all of those. And there's one that speaks to me the most. And just with myself, I'm going to start exploring what feels right. I'm going to stop thinking about it, and I'm going to start feeling into it. What feels best to me? What is energizing me? And then I'm beginning to be more and more of that. And I love how being me energizes me. I feel free. I feel lit up. I feel excited about life. I love the relationships I'm in. I attract the people who get me exactly the way I am. And I'm beginning to really own that being myself rocks. Okay, take a deep breath in and out and stop tapping. So if you're on the chat, give us some feedback if there's anything specific you want to share or ask. And we will still do the money tapping too. But this was the one about really being yourself, stepping into that. I can't hear you, Murielle. Are you? I think you're muted.
Yes, I muted
Yeah.
myself. I actually discovered something that I didn't realize.
Okay.
First of all, when you started, I had a nausea coming into my
Oh.
stomach. So,
Mm-hmm. Third
so
chakra. Yes.
yes. And the other thing is, I am resisting the creative idealist big
Mm-hmm.
time. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, it's logical because I always say I'm not creative. I'm very intimidated by being, for example, when I do Facebook Lives and I teach, I have an agenda, I know what I'm going to talk about, I'm all fine. I'm mastering that. But if I go into the playful side, where I've been advised by business coaches to do some spontaneous live on my personal page,
Mm-hmm.
I am blocked. I'm so afraid of that. So
Yes.
that means I need to continue tapping on that.
Yes. And what it means is just go back and see when have you been totally spontaneous and then were laughed at or ridiculed or got in trouble.
Yeah.
So that's something where you can just go inside. It's like, okay, so what happened? And then tap on that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It looks like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yes. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and a
Okay.
teacher told me that what I did for my mom for Mother's Day was hideous. So I guess
It
it's
is.
related to that. So
You know what? I bet you it is. So you just found a pot of gold right there. Mm-hmm.
that's why
Yes,
tapping is really miraculous.
it is. Yes, it is. So do you want to
So
do a quick money one? Or do you
yes,
have a question there?
because
Same
I don't
question?
see any comments, but they
Okay.
may come later. Yes.
Okay, good. So let's do a money one about I don't have enough money and I will never have enough money. How's that?
Oh, great. Perfect.
Okay. All right. So take a deep breath in and out again. And just become present to the feelings, what that feels like. For most people, it might be feeling of anxiety or even panic. It's like, oh my God, I will never have enough money. There is not enough money. There will never be enough money. Just feel into that. Okay, and then tap on the side of the hand. In the first round or two, I'm going to announce the point. So side of the hand, even though I don't have enough money, and I will never have enough money, because there's never enough. I deeply and completely accept myself anyway, because this is just my experience. Even though I can feel this anxiety and fear around not having enough money, and this hopelessness of never having enough money, I choose to relax now anyway and honor everything I'm feeling about this. Even though there is just never enough money. There's just never enough. And I have come to believe that that is the truth, even though it actually isn't. I accept myself with all these limitations. And I'm ready to believe something else. Okay, take a deep breath in and out. Top of the head and just tap through the points. There's not enough money. I don't have enough money. I have pretty much never had enough money. And it looks like I will never have enough money. And there's I'm sorry, under the nose, I forgot to say the point. So under the nose, there's a belief inside of me, increase, that insists there will never be enough money. And collarbone point. And that voice is really loud under your arm. And that voice is really annoying. Top of the head. This part of me believes that there's never going to be enough. Eyebrow. And it looks like this voice is right. outside of the eye. There has never been enough. Under your eye. It is utterly frustrating. And in fact, it's really, really scary. Under your nose. But it's just my experience. Chin crease. It is not the truth. Collarbone. The truth is there are many people who do have enough. Under your arm. And it seems like they're completely different from me. Top of the head. But what if they aren't? Eyebrow. What if there is something I haven't seen so far? Side of the eye. What if it's just my belief? Under your eye. I have been programmed from early age on that there will never be enough money. Under your nose. That is how I grew up. Chin crease. So I thought it's the same for everybody. Collarbone. Or at least for the people like us. Under your arm. But I am done with that. Enough is enough. Top of the head. I am so sick and tired of not having enough money. Eyebrow. And I am beginning to change it right this moment. Side of the eye. I don't know how, but there is a way out of this. Under your eye. And I am ready to go this new way. Under your nose. It starts with me believing that there's another possibility. Chin crease. And I don't know yet how this is going to happen, but I am ready and willing to give it a try. A real, honest try. Collarbone. Because I don't have anything to lose except my limiting beliefs. Under your arm. I'm ready to give this a try. We'll do one more round. So top of the head. This sounds completely crazy, but I am ready to try it. Eyebrow point. I don't know what exactly I believe about money. Side of the eye. But not having enough clearly shows that my unconscious programming limits me. Under your eye. And I'm done with that. I am done with that belief. Under your nose. From this moment on, I am installing a new belief. Chin crease. There is a way. In fact, I'm already on my way even though I didn't know it. Collarbone. This tapping thing might really work for me. This is my first step into financial freedom. I don't care if it sounds weird. I deserve this. Under your arm. I am ready for a completely new experience around money. Countless people have enough money. And from today on, I claim to be one of those people. Top of the head and stay there. Just because I haven't had enough money in the past means nothing. It just shows what I believed in the past. It has nothing to do with my future. And right now, in this very moment, I'm beginning to create my new future. A future with plenty of money, plenty of joy, and plenty of happiness. Because I deserve it and because I say so. Okay, take a deep breath in and out. And then just feel into it. We forgot to say that earlier, but feel into this whole belief there's never going to be enough money, there's not enough money, and feel if there's a difference, if there's any kind of shift to what you felt like before we tapped. And then if you have any questions, either put them in the thread right now or obviously put them in the comments later. We will always be happy to come back and answer questions. How was that, Murielle?
It was it was great, but I'm already working on money with you, so
Yes, you are.
yes. So, but still, my body still reacts. That means there is some stuff that needs to be cleared out.
Yes, yes. And, any kind of tapping, no matter, even if you tap without saying any words, is going to help calm down your nervous system. It's just such a great thing to do for yourself. Is just tap, even if you don't tap with a specific intention. Just tap a few rounds. It'll calm down your nervous system and it'll do you good.
Yes, because sometimes some emotions come up and you don't even know what they relate to.
Yes.
And you're not in a place where you can start investigating. Like, it happens to me sometimes when I drive and I feel stress or I feel negative emotions. I don't even know what they are about. I just go on the collarbone and I tap in my car as I drive.
Yes, yes.
And it calms it down. Or you can, what I do too is the karate chop is the reset point. So I tap it against my wheel while I'm driving.
Too. Yes, I do that too.
I know people may look at me and they think, what the heck this woman is doing? But
Yes.
I don't mind, because it's such a powerful tool. Like you said, there is a lot of research now around tapping, and it has been proven that it has the potential to rewire the brain. They use it for PTSD and very serious stuff, and it's really, really potent.
Super powerful, yes.
There are two questions I always ask every guest, because it's a topic that is dear to my heart, and it's about self-love. Okay. A lot of women I work with don't even know what it means to them. So I love having my guests telling me about their own definition of self-love. So what is your own?
So for me, loving myself is first and foremost being compassionate with myself. Cutting myself some slack. And that is really something that doesn't come naturally to me. But it's that achievement part, right?
Oh, yeah, I can relate.
It's just really when we can understand that we are always doing the best that we can in the moment. Even some days it really stinks. It's still the best we can do in that moment. When we can give ourselves a break and be compassionate and say, you know what? Yeah, I just yelled at my kids, or yeah, I just did whatever. But I did the best that I was able to at this point. And, just have compassion. That to me is like the biggest thing. Just really have compassion and letting yourself off the hook.
And so you kind of answered the second question about practicing that in your life. So compassion is a practice too. Is there any other practice that you incorporated in your life regarding self-love?
I do. So it goes back to life purpose profiles. The best way for me to practice loving myself is being who I really am, not who I'm supposed to be. Oh, wow. Find as many options, as many chances, as many people as you possibly can find to be the real you. You will probably start out carefully with some people around you that are really close, and you start sharing a little bit about who you really are and see how they react. And when you see that their reaction is positive, you just share a little bit more about yourself and you're being a little bit more you. And there's going to be people who don't get you. Well, then those are not the people you want to be around with. So my practice is that being myself as much as I can possibly be in my marriage, in my parenting, in my volunteer activities with my clients. I mean, I'm just totally vulnerable with my clients. I know I don't have it all together, and I have no problem sharing how I have fallen on my face, because it's just be who you are. And when you are who you are, you give other people permission to be who they are as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And regarding who you really are, if you were not sure based on the description that the 5 kind of personality or
the life purpose profiles.
Yes. How can people investigate about that? Is it about feeling them and feel the one that rings through?
That's an really good way to start. I don't have any resources on my page, but if you go to Reese Method, RHYS method.com, it redirects you to Reese Thomas's page. And he actually has a questionnaire that you can take to get a general idea. He also has a great book. It's called Discover Your Purpose, that gives all the descriptions. And it has a lot of how to step into that. So actually the book might be the best one. Okay. And I give you a secret insider tip here. Don't get it on Amazon. I mean, do get it on Amazon. However, if you go to discoveryourpurposebook.com, there's a bunch of bonuses. And I don't get anything for saying this. I just love his work. It has changed my life. So if you go to discoveryourpurposebook.com and then plug in your receipt number, you get all kinds of different bonuses from Reese as well and a bunch of other people. So that is a great way to investigate more about the life purpose profiles. And then, of course, you can always come. If you feel like called to just coaching and doing it with me, you can always come to me as well, and we can have a conversation.
Which brings me to my next question. I know you have a gift for the audience today, and I would love for them to have access to it.
Yes. So I have mentioned the Tapping into Wealth program several times before, which was just my breakthrough for my whole money beliefs. And I have created a whole course around it. And the gift that I have for you today is create your own money map for free. So if you go to tinyurl.com/moneymapcourse, that will give you access to a 90-minute audio and all the resources. There's some worksheets, and I'll walk you through the whole thing. It was a group call that I made and walking the participants through the money map course, through the money map. And so you can do the same thing. So listen to the call, get the resources, and you will find out what blocks you in the 5 different types of money. Because we have 5 different types of money. Who knew that there's 5 different types of money? I had no idea.
Yes.
And it's fascinating. And I know we've done it together. It's fascinating when you go through this to say, oh my gosh, I didn't know I believed this. No wonder I'm doing this or I'm not doing that. So I would highly, highly recommend. It's a 90-minute course, but you can stop and pick up, who has 90 minutes in a stretch, right? It's hard. So especially if you're a single mom. But I would suggest download it and go through it at your own pace. There's 5 types of money. So you can take a break after every 10 or 15 minutes, pick the next type of money up next time you have another 10, 15 minutes. And then you will create your very own money map with your own personalized beliefs. And I will even I have for you a tapping script at the end that you can then use. And when we said earlier, I don't know what to say, it tells you exactly what to say. So it's a free resource that you can literally use that resource and just start tapping those beliefs away.
Yes,
it's a great resource.
I remember from our coaching session together that I had a lot of aha moments, stuff that I didn't, that I uncovered. And since I started working with that, I see the concrete results in my business. So it's working. So take advantage of that class because it does work. Where can people go if they want to find out more about you, if they want to connect with you?
Yeah. So easiest way is go to marionsolis.com. That's Marion with an O, Marion, marionsolis.com. And it will take you to my Facebook page, and then you can connect with me there. And there is also the money maps on there. The boot camp is on there. So the best way is to marionsolis.com.
Great. Thank you, Marion, for all this beautiful information, the exercises, and all the richness. I mean, wealth started today because look at that. This is an abundance of resources and ways to stop tapping into more money. Thank you very much for being our guest today.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And for our audience, that was a bonus episode because I'm bringing to you people that I personally benefited from, or I find amazing, and Marion is one of them. I just want you to have all the resources you can to transform your life into one that you can actually enjoy more and where you can be your true self. So we'll see each other in the next episode. And even my cat is saying goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.